How's everyone doing out there? We are joined by Flying Rich. My name is John Crump. I am a reporter, and we are joined by super lawyer Steven Stambolia. Kyle, what's up, man? Steven and Kyle should get together. I mean, Kyle's Anderson Manufacturing. Good people.
Definitely.
Today we're going to be talking about a few different things. One of the things that Steven and I both got was some new stuff from the FBI. Steven posted it on Twitter already. The MLN article is going to be going up soon, but we both got this information, and Steven posted screenshots, and I right here have the documents themselves. So yeah. So if you help and get word out, let us know, because we are always willing to share information. And this is the new FBI guide for violent militant extremists, and they have a few new things on here that they haven't had below. But before we get into this, let's go ahead, Steven, tell everyone who you are.
Hey, Steven Stambolia. I'm a Second Amendment lawyer. I go around the country and sue the government.
Somebody told me that you changed the pronunciation of your last name multiple times on purpose to confuse people.
You know, I did it in law school. I had just one of my favorite all-time favorite professors, and he'd be like, is it Stambolia? I'm like, no, it's Stambolia. And then he would get it right every once in a while. I'm like, no, you said it wrong. Yeah, it's not so nice, but he was one of my favorites. So
all right, so let's look over some of the new terms that they actually added. I don't think killdozer was on there before, right?
No, it wasn't.
If you don't know what killdozer is, there is a meme of it, basically the Gadsden flag, but this guy basically he thought the town of Granby was infringing on his rights, so he armored a killdozer and decided to drive through the building.
Yeah, it wasn't a Konomatsu. It was I forget a specific model, and Whistling Diesel bought one. He's building one, and on the way, like where he purchased, it's like a ridiculously huge bulldozer. And Whistling Diesel bought it and drove it through the town of Granby on a flatbed.
Jeez.
Yeah,
he's on a list now.
So what is it? Heemeyer? That's it. Heemeyer. I knew
Martin Heemeyer. That's what it is. I don't know. Don't really follow it too much. But basically, that's the meme right there. It's the killdozer. It's a Gadsden flag. It's up without a rattlesnake with the killdozer, and it says "tread on them."
So I look at that and I laugh. I just think it's witty and funny as all get out. Just the same way like people have T-shirts, and just like it's a Haynes manual. And you know, Steven, I don't know if you're like a Doctor Who fan, but the first time I saw it was like the Haynes manual to Daleks. And you know, they also do the Haynes manual for killdozers. And again, everybody's going to probably be screaming in the comment what model, you know, make and model that bulldozer was. But
well, you had to be familiar with what Haynes is first, or that joke. You don't get the joke. So
yeah,
Gen X, I get the joke.
Okay, so it's a Kodomatsu D355A.
Does it really matter? The
It
other
does.
thing is "Come and take it," which has been used from the Greek. It's actually the slogan of the Greek army. It was used by the Greeks. It was used by uh, the people defending the Alamo. That's where we get the white flag with the cannon on it that says "Come and take it." And a lot of people have tattoos that say that.
Yep.
But if you have one, you might be a violent extremist, I guess. But, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to go ahead and make as many people violent extremists as possible, or potential violent extremism, I should say.
But were the people with the killdozers and come and take it and all of that, they were the people burning the country down a couple of summers ago during the summer of love?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Tell me who
no. But
it,
see, once you can label everyone a terrorist, something that 9/11 gave us is the government has an extraordinary amount of power when it comes to labeling people terrorists, and then their whole toolkit just miraculously opens up, and then they get to deal with you as a terrorist.
ouch. All right, thank you. Cuz I'm looking at this from like fact, like evidence based. I'm like, so how many people I know are problems because they have maybe some cash in a safe, maybe some food, maybe some water, maybe some, just in case you live in Florida and the power goes out for a couple of days, you can't pump well water.
Oh, we're gonna get to that in a minute, but I do want to hit on the Patriot political prisoners. There's a bunch of people that since the January 6th stuff that's been in prison without trials. Some people consider them to be political prisoners, and if you think that they're being held for political reasons, then you could be a violent extremist, which is ridiculous. And prepping. So if you are prepared for like a natural disaster or anything like that, you could be a violent extremist too.
Doesn't the government before every major hurricane give you a list of things that you need to prep for? I just remember that living through Katrina.
Oh yeah,
I think the government actually has a website called preparedness. What is it?
yeah.
Preparedness.gov or something like that. I don't know.
Mm.
Oh,
So
We
is the
should tell the
government an
FBI.
MV?
I
Yes,
guess
100%.
ready.gov. So
Yes,
yeah,
I've just looked it
Oh,
up.
ready.gov.
Ready.gov.
I see it's
Plan
different
ahead
because
for
it's spelled
disasters.
differently. Plan ahead. It's not prepping, it's planning and being ready.
Oh, planning.
Planning. It's spelled
Make a
differently.
plan form. Let's see what here. Emergency supply list. Build a kit. Would that be kind of like a bug out kit or a bug out bag? That, if you own one, might make you a violent military extremist because that is definitely on there.
Mm.
I have a get home
Bug out.
kit.
Yeah. If you make a plan,
And like have off-grid comms or something like that. Maybe that would piss them off.
yeah. So
Well,
basically, you might be a
I write
extremist
letters sometimes.
if you plan. Oh, that you can't do that. What are you thinking, Steven?
I don't know. I just thought it was okay to do.
We
Oh,
got a
so
$2 super chat. Great catch. So basically, if you have a plan, like how many people have plans that live in hurricane areas to leave if
no, I don't plan on
hurricane?
leaving.
I guess those evacuation signs.
They're part of prepping. Oh, your camera's
I,
following you now because you've raised your hand.
oh, sorry. One of the annoying things about this camera is I can do it
So
so it
they talk about maintaining your kit storage locations, homework, car. I'm like, yes.
I don't think that makes you extremist. I think that makes you prepared.
I mean, I've got a med kit. It's kind of that's one of my favorite things. I mean, I have a couple of fire extinguishers in the house. Is it because I'm an arsonist, or I want fires, or I like fires? No. I have medical kits. Is it because I want injuries? No. I have an insurance policy on the house. Is it because I want it destroyed by fire or something? No. But it's called, being prepared. I have a life insurance
Probably
policy.
One of those
Do I want to die?
crazy gun toters.
And yeah, I've got a firearm for protection of myself and my family. Yeah.
How about this red flag stuff? If you're against red flag laws because you think they might be unconstitutional because there's no, due process in them, and it might
guns
be
first.
Yeah, but if you are against the lack of due process in something, you must be an extremist.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the broad brush of the FBI. It's like the Patriot Act stuff. I mean, right after 9/11, anything they want to say, terrorism. Terrorism's bad. We have to go after them. And here, look, this is what they're doing to us. I have a Milan LeVay tattoo. Am I an extremist? I guess.
They might kick down your door tonight, Stephen.
Yeah, they might. They really might.
Oh,
they can't go after the real criminals like the cartels and all these other people committing like actual crimes. But this guy's talking about political prisoners from January 6th. I mean, they're going hard after those people for walking around the Capitol. Now, some people did some bad things, sure, but the majority of those people were literally waved in by other cops at the Capitol. And just so you know, I was out of the country during that time. I was not here. I've got the passport stamp to prove it. So, don't try me.
Yeah. Also, I guess Walter might be an extremist because does he make an SHTF 50?
You know why I got a 50 BM bolt action?
Because the government doesn't want you to have one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I think this is the most ridiculous thing. Yep. And I'm glad there's people out there giving it to people like Steven and giving it to people like me.
Yeah, I mean, you got a better version than I got, but I'm glad that we both got it, and I hope more people get stuff like this, and they just keep posting it because that's what we need to do is just post whatever you get.
Yeah, I'll give you the better version if you want.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm fine with what I got, but yours looks a little bit cleaner than mine.
Yeah.
So can you go back to that FBI list?
Yeah, sure.
MVE identification kit.
Yeah, but
could they just issue cards?
I don't know, but if you guys want to send me links, you can always reach me at bstips@protonmail.com. bstips@protonmail.com. If you want to remain anonymous, that is a encrypted box where I can't track you down.
And BS is for Black Swan?
Yeah.
So if you talk about red flag laws, and I'm assuming they're, instead of going after cartel members because you might get shot, they go after grandma from J6 because she'll probably go peacefully.
I bet.
Oath breakers. If you believe,
I haven't heard that one.
You haven't heard oath breakers? It's basically someone who enforces an unconstitutional law. Because didn't Mulder and Madison say that unconstitutional laws are void?
Yes.
No law at all.
Yeah.
And
I've got some spicy oath breaker memes.
Yeah. So basically, if you accuse someone of being an oath breaker for enforcing the law, then here's the one I really, really want to talk about. The Second Amendment.
So hold on. I'm a little confused right here. You mean the U.S. Constitution is no good? Because the Second Amendment is part of the U.S. Constitution.
Well, these MVEs use it to justify their opposition to gun laws. They use an amendment. for their opposition to gun laws.
I don't know. Can you see that?
What is it? It's
Hold on,
ATF,
I got it.
oath
Oathbreaker.
breaker. Oh,
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
I know. I had it
Oh,
made.
that's cool.
Oh, yeah, that made.
Yeah. Yeah, I had it made. I got a whole bunch that I had made with one of my buddies that does this kind of stuff. And he's got one with the FRT trigger, which always cracks me up. It's the 3 wolf stuff.
I see.
So, oh, they're
I
howling at
just
the
think it's
moon.
funny.
That is
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is a good one. That took a moment.
Yeah, it definitely puts me on a list. But yeah, whatever.
Oh wait, Boogaloo. Did we? You
course.
skipped a few here.
Well, I mean, those are the ones that were already there.
Oh, okay.
But Boogaloo is one of the ones that are there. Yeah. So it's definitely interesting. Some of the stuff that they put in there. I like this. MVEs often reference the Second Amendment allegations of tyranny, historical grievances such as the federal government enforcement handling of Ruby Ridge and Waco. But
Yes.
then they screwed that up majorly.
Kind of like own it.
Waco, the child abuse allegations didn't come out until after the Waco raid. Until they raided them for machine guns, even though they didn't have machine guns. And they could have, and they knew that the Branch Davidians knew that they were coming, but they still went anyway. And they notified the press.
Operation Showtime.
Yeah, they notified the press, and they could have picked up David Koresh while he was jogging, since he jogged unarmed every day. And then we get the whole.
But you don't get the press involved if you just pick some dude up while he's jogging around. I mean, if you want to go in there and break some eggs while you're making your omelet, you have to get the press involved.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. This is ridiculous. Then you got Ruby Ridge. They talk about if you think that Ruby Ridge was bad, where they shot a woman holding a baby in the face, and they killed a preteen, that they shot his dog, and without announcing themselves, and when he fired in the direction of the people that are pointing the gun in the direction of the people that were shooting at him without announcing it, they shot him and killed him too. And then they killed the guy's wife, and then they're like, we don't know why he's not coming out.
And then offered her pancakes.
Yeah.
And they kept offering her pancakes knowing that she was dead.
Yep.
It's gross. It's all gross.
But if you criticize that, it seems like they're almost trying to criticize free speech.
But it's kind of revisionist history. So if you're saying if we talk about it, we're bad, but all of these things that we're talking about is when the government really did wrong things, bad things, but we're not supposed to talk about the government doing bad or wrong things and killing people.
I think that's true.
Well, I think we beat this to a pulp. The documents are going to be posted over on Amaland, so if you go to Amaland, you can find my article, which should be up any time now. But we're going to jump topics here. Don't want to say targets. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Bowie knives, butterfly knives, and switchblade knives. And we're going to be doing that over at John Crump Live. So if you want to join us over there, you can just hang out here for a second and you will be redirected over there. But I figured we needed to get this out. We needed to get this out now so everyone knows what is going on. So with that said, we are going to end the show, I guess, on the John Crump news channel, at least. and go from there. So just bear with us. If you want to hang on, you can. And here we go. See you over there. All right, now we are on John Crump new and live only. Let me see here. Just people are asking where to. As I said, stay in the chat. You're going to be redirected. And people are like, where can we pick? I'm just joking, guys. If you come over. All right. It looks like a bunch of people are coming over now. Let's go ahead, and I wanted to do a show specifically on Bowie knives because those are the original boogeyman, and I keep on seeing Bowie knives and clubs being referenced in cases, including the ruling that we just got of switchblades out of California. So the Bowie knife law is an 1830s law, I believe, from Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact date of it, but it's not a super old law, like going back to the founding. But I mean, we've always had fighting knives, but this specific type of knife, people were using it to kill people with, obviously, because that's what you use the knives for. And it just turns up everywhere in all of the California and Hawaii briefs. They love their Bowie knives, and they always recite back to them, even in cases that have nothing to do with knives, and just regular firearms cases. They say, well, let's pretend it's 1830s. All these various states started banning these fighting knives that would protect your hand and had a long blade, and people were killing each other with them. And so they're saying, oh, those are, dangerous and unusual weapons, just like a gun. So that's what California and Hawaii are doing. They did the same thing with the Teeter case, the Hawaii case that dealt with butterfly knives. Now, I don't know if everyone knows what a butterfly knife is, but it's just a split hand. Yeah, it's a balisong. It's just a split handle knife where the blade can rotate, and people. Yeah, there you go. Definitely a terrorist. It's just a split handle knife where the blade can go back into the handle, and it's a very safe way to carry a knife. It's not any faster opening than what I have here. That's a lot faster than if you were trying to open that butterfly knife. But apparently there were some movies that made people very afraid of butterfly knives, like switchblades as well. Once a jet, always a jet. Okay, so they just keep referring back to the Bowie knives as the original dangerous and unusual weapon. I mean, and that's not really true. Obviously, we have some other bigger and better weapons if you go back further, like the Lansquet and things like that. These massive spears or head axes or things like that. But
or most Nagant bayonets.
Well, I mean, I don't know when Mosins were invented. Probably after 1830. But if they want to go back to what the Bruin test established, that we have to go back to, arguably at least 1791 to try to find some analogs, so these commie states can try to argue that their laws are constitutional, because the founders would have thought, well, if we can ban Bowie knives, even though they didn't, or big fighting knives, even though they didn't, we certainly can ban these AR-15s like they did in in Maryland, right? So they're trying to analogize their laws based off of this knife and saying, well, we could ban Bowie knives, now we can ban AR-15s. I mean, it's really disingenuous.
So this has nothing to do with Bowie knives being dangerous, Bowie knives being a major cause of death, or there is no statistical hard data on this. This is a camel's nose in the tent. It's like, oh, if we get that, we can go for this.
But that's all they have. So going back real far in time in American history, they can just point to a whole bunch of states and territories banning Bowie knives. And they say, well, look, the founders must have thought this because it was, relative in time to when the founders had ratified the Second Amendment. Even though it was ratified in 1791, they're still going too far post 1791 to pull in all these various analogs and say, the founders, if they banned Bowie knives, then they certainly would have banned switchblades. They certainly would have banned butterfly knives.
Yeah, let me ask you a question on this the Switchblade case. Uh, uh, the knife rights argued that switchblades are in common use since 1.2 million dollar 2 million of them are produced each year.
Mhm.
The judge said, "Well, you're misunderstanding common use. It's not common use. It's common use for self-defense only. All
Yeah.
lawful purposes does not cross the mind. It's just common use is just for self-defense."
Well, that's what he said. Heller goes back and forth, common use for lawful purposes and common use, not specific. They do say common use for self-defense, like these are commonly owned for self-defense, but it wasn't, as I read it, it wasn't a carve out only saying that these weapons are commonly owned for self-defense, thus they're protected. It's commonly owned for lawful purposes. Because you have to remember back in the founding, the people would show up to the battlefield militia muster, whatever, the unorganized militia, which that might get me on the MVE list. Just
You don't
saying
know
that.
what the deal is,
Uh, yeah, sorry guys, but they would show up with weapons that they owned. So I might have a one-off musket, but the commander, the battlefield commander, is not going to be like, "Hey, Steven, old chap, go home. You brought the wrong musket. Just go home and don't come back since I didn't have the right one." Whatever I would show up with, they would just assume that that's the kind that was commonly owned at the time. So I mean, if we were mustering today, we would most likely all have AR-15s. I guess unless you live in Maryland, I don't know what you'd have. Maybe a 1022 or something. So the judge is wrong in this Switchblade case. I don't have very high hopes in the Ninth Circuit. We currently have a butterfly knife case, Teeter, which we won in the panel stage, the 3-judge panel. Hawaii hired Neil Katyal, Obama's former Solicitor General, to defend the butterfly knife ban, and then petitioned the Ninth Circuit for en banc rehearing, which they granted, of course, because like almost every single Second Amendment case in the Ninth Circuit goes en banc, where the en banc court overturns the panel decision, like they did with Young, another one of mine and Alan Beck's cases. And that's just kind of what we're faced with over there.
Yeah, it is really hard. Another thing that the judge in the Switchblade case said was that dangerous and unusual are exclusive from each other. Dangerous and unusual are exclusive from each other. So it's kind of sounded like he was changing it to dangerous or unusual.
Yeah, the Supreme Court was very clear. It's dangerous and unusual. It's a conjunctive test. It has to be both dangerous and unusual. I mean, if you look at handguns, like they protected in Heller, handguns are dangerous. That's why you don't give them to 3-year-olds to play with. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that, but they're not unusual. There's millions and millions and millions of them owned. Most people use them for self-defense. And so it breaks the chain if you can say, well, this is dangerous. It's not dangerous per se. If you use them correctly, they're not dangerous. But at the same time, they were made, for target practice, for self-defense, which I want a weapon that's dangerous if I'm going to use it for self-defense. I don't want a pepper ball gun, because if I pull it out, all it does is escalate the situation with no real choice of the situation being de-escalated because the guy can't do anything after I'm done. So like, I want a dangerous weapon. Like my Benchmade little auto folder right here is dangerous, but not in the way I use it. But if I was using it for self-defense, it would be dangerous, and I would expect it to be dangerous because I'm gonna stab you.
Yeah, I think that the judge is really trying to pull stuff, and so
Well,
because
that's the California argument, by the way, where they say it's dangerous or unusual because in Blackstone they said dangerous or unusual weapons. But we're not bound by Blackstone. We're bound by the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said dangerous and unusual. And so we actually faced this in Fouts, which is our Billy Club ban case out of California, where California said the Supreme Court got it wrong and it's dangerous or unusual. And I argued in front of Judge Benitez. I said, well, Judge, we're just going to go with what the Supreme Court said. They said dangerous and unusual. And Judge Benitez like, that's the right way to look at this. It's dangerous and unusual because the Supreme Court said so. And I'm bound by the Supreme Court.
Why don't you
I mean, that's it.
People what Blackstone is, because probably a lot of people don't know what Blackstone Book of Law is. But
old treatises that we all rely on that kind of tells us what they were thinking back in the day. It's kind of hard in 2024 to say, well, what were the founders thinking? And so we pull up a lot of different founding era literature, pre-founding, post-founding, and just kind of combine all of these things. And we pull from treatises, dictionaries, super old cases. I mean, we even go back to 1328 with the Statute of Northampton, which is the writing.
I was going to mention that, how far.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back really, really far. In I think it was in Fouts, we went back to like the 800s, just to kind of give a full recitation of what all the different weapons bands they had. For instance, the landscape, which is like a heavy spear that you would ride on horseback with and go to war with. They banned the heavy. I'm sorry, they banned one of them. I don't even remember which one it is because it doesn't matter because I'll never have one. They banned one, but not the heavier version, or maybe they banned the heavier version and not the lighter version to show that people could still own them. Versus what California has done, they banned people from having clubs, like from literally walking around with a baton, a billy club. It's like the universe's oldest weapon. We have the rock and the club. And California's like, no, we're going to ban that because it's too dangerous. But here's your pistol permit. You can carry a Glock 19.
Or carry a baseball bat.
Yeah, well, it depends. Like they considered in a couple cases that a baseball bat, depending on your usage of it, could be considered a billy club.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Well,
Yeah,
that was like in New York, the quote unquote, like you're going to or from baseball practice. So if you have a baseball bat in your back seat or accessible to the driver.
Yeah, I mean, California does some really ridiculous things, and Hawaii does ridiculous things. Like all of these commie states, like New York banned nunchucks. And there was a guy that was practicing his, I don't know, flipping whatever he does with nunchucks, and they arrested him for it. Yeah, they arrested him for it, and so he actually got that law and joined, saying that nunchucks are protected by the Second Amendment.
Nunchucks are more dangerous to the person using nunchucks.
Hey, yeah, maybe so, but it's just this ridiculous stuff. They got scared. New York got scared after the Bruce Lee movies because Bruce Lee would, I don't know, go attack people with nunchucks. I mean, this is how our politicians write laws. They go watch a movie, and then they go back together and soil themselves and write these laws like, oh, we've done something. We've protected the public from these dangerous nunchucks.
I just want to go on record saying that I have 2 sets of nunchucks, and I know, I'm a rebel.
I used to compete with nunchucks.
Hold on, your voice sounds so familiar. Are you Steven Stambolier?
I am.
No freaking way! Wow.
Yeah.
I'm DLD. I'm the guy that you help all the time.
I remember.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, we were all down in Tennessee together. So yeah. Yep. So yeah, Johnny 3 Bar brought up something. Guy actual did too. The ceramic Glock. That's how we got the Undetectable Firearms Act.
The Glock 7.
Yeah, because of a pretend. Yeah, because of a pretend gun in a fictitious movie that just scared too many people.
You mean that wasn't a terrorist documentary? I don't understand.
I mean,
and that's why we still have laws banning suppressors in a number of states because they think that it makes suppressors, and we call it Hollywood quiet, and it doesn't, right? Yeah, I mean, if you shot suppressors, you would realize they're still pretty loud. On some of the guns that I shoot suppressed, I still have to wear ear protection.
Yeah. So I live in the redneck part of Palm Beach, and Palm Beach, or Florida, I should say, as a state, if you have greater than an acre of property and the rounds don't leave your property, those are the requirements to shoot on your property. I met one of my neighbors because my micro dog, just like Dark's there, ran, number of houses down the block. Lady's like, "Are you the guy that shoots all the time?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." You're like, "Oh, my son has guns too." Well,
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
You have to shoot suppressed?
This is my hamster.
no, but
Okay.
I'm saying I actually want to shoot suppressed because
Yeah.
I don't want to piss off my neighbors.
But
sure.
tell him why you don't shoot suppressed.
Well, I'm not sure where Dark's going on that, but
probably-
You don't have a suppressor.
Yeah.
well, I don't have a suppressor, but my legit, I shoot. It's the anti-Karens. My neighbors call up. They're like, "Hey, man, is that you shooting?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "You gonna be out for a while? Can I come over?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Like, "What are you shooting? Anything cool?" I'm like, "Yeah, different guns." Yeah.
Rich called me up
Yeah. So it's
and said one day, he said, "Hey," oh, there's my thumb. He said, "Hey, I need a free suppressor." I'm like, "What? Can you hook
everybody
me up?
needs a free
I
suppressor.
need a free suppressor. Can you hook me up?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Well, it wasn't. He wasn't being that ridiculous. It was in response to you getting a can, and I think that he was feeling left out. I got a can from Big Mac, but it's a T&E. I'm not just over here getting free suppressors like DLD. Did you thumb him? No, I did not thumb him. I was thumbing. Whatever. I'm done. Go ahead.
All right, no, but yeah, it's ridiculous. I was arguing with someone about suppressors. It was a mom's demand action person. I was like, "No, suppressors aren't that quiet." She's like, "You can't hear them. It's on fire." So
You don't know what you're talking about.
so
I've
I
seen
said-
John Wick.
So I sent her the Mythbusters episode where they did on suppressors. They did a whole episode on suppressors. And they proved that they're not whisper quiet, movie quiet, or whatever, and stuff like that. And her response was, "Well, they're just probably gun propagandists." Like it's Mythbusters.
What?
Mhm.
Two California guys, two San Francisco, California guys. Well, I think Jamie Heineman is. I don't think Adam Savage is.
Yeah, it's like this Mythbusters. That they're not gun
He's
propagandists.
he's kind of a gun dude, but I think he's kind of become a gun dude. I don't think he's like, and he doesn't look at it like we do, right? He's not looking at he doesn't see things the same way that we do. Like a lot of these people don't believe that these are natural rights that are given to us by God and are supposed to be protected by the Constitution.
Yeah. Okay. I want to also ask you a question. So on Friday night, I was watching a show called On Patrol Live. I did a video of it and wrote an article about it. They had a cop on there that was threatening to arrest a 20-year-old because he owned a pistol.
Florida man.
Yeah,
He
an
owned-
AR pistol.
And his reasoning was, you're not allowed, it's against the law, federal and state law, to own a pistol at under 21.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know Florida law, but he's wrong under federal law.
He's wrong on the Florida law too, by the way. I checked it.
I'm sure of it because I'm not licensed in Florida, so I have to be careful. I don't want to get one of these mom demand people mad and he's talking about Florida law. Let's get it. But federal law in some of our other cases, they've said, well, you don't have to be able to buy a pistol when you're under 21 because you can just get it on the secondary market, or you can get a gift from one of your parents. I thought this is what you all wanted to stop, and here you are telling people just go get it on the secondary market or buy get a gift from your parents or something. Anyways, that's an idiot cop.
Then they were talking about how he might be going to prison because he's a felon in possession of a firearm.
And thank God they got this gun off the streets. Who knows what he was planning on doing?
You know what the funny part about that was, Steven?
He's not a felon.
He's not a felon. clean record.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, good. I'm
But-
glad he didn't get killed.
Seriously, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, I think he might be. If I was that guy, I'd be filing some lawsuits.
For sure. And
It's the show and the cops.
well, because
Oh, yeah.
to add even more craziness to it, there was the cops that were on scene that were saying it's illegal. You have to be 21 to have a handgun, right? You have to be 21 to own a handgun.
And he was a sergeant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was a sergeant.
And the dad's like, "No, that's not the law." And he's like, "Shut up, or I'm going to take you
I'll
to
arrest
jail."
you too.
Yeah, if you don't leave my traffic stop, I'm going to take you to jail. The other thing, of course, for the safety of Stephen, this is just an academic exercise, right? This isn't like so just for the FUDs and the moms demanding action out there, you could hit me up, but
It's
so
a funny name.
right.
Yeah.
So the other
Yeah.
thing is
Mom's
That's why they
Demand
love
Action.
abortion so much.
Yeah, Mom's
Oh.
Demand Action, starring Mia Khalifa and I don't know the other porn star names.
Oh.
I would watch that. So
The only reason
one
I
of-
know that she hosts a show about the Washington Capitals.
nice.
It's not the only reason you know that.
Yeah. So there was a panel of law enforcement that were like reviewing the footage and talking about it, and there were the cops that were like on the scene on the recorded video. So this panel of law enforcement was all like he's a felon in possession of, like, thank God they got that gun off the streets. Who knows what he would have done with it.
So
Good
are they
work on that
saying the
officer.
son or the father? Or they're talking out of their butts. That's complete conjecture at that point.
Of
Yeah.
course. That's slander. That's
But
defamation, I
Ki-
guess.
can we talk one more thing? I mean, not like I watched the whole video. I watched some parts of it. These people were a minority, a protected class.
You
And I'm
can
like,
you can say black.
we're allowed to say that.
I
So
think so.
because this father and son are in a car with an AR-15 pistol in the back seat, and they're a protected class, of course, one or both are felons, right?
Well, I don't think you can say protected class if it's not pertaining to things in
Well,
which they're protected in. So, like
I
real
mean-
estate, financial lending.
Right.
They're
Whatever.
certainly not protected from police.
Most days I have a laptop case with me, and when I'm around town, I might have something in that laptop case.
Yeah, it's like that cop up in that lost qualified immunity because the guy had a concealed carry permit. The cop said that was probable cause to search his car.
Wow.
So they pulled him out of the car, tackled him to the ground, handcuffed him, threw him in the back of the car, and searched his car. Found
I
nothing.
don't remember what state that was. It
Connecticut.
just came out. Was it Connecticut? Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's been a couple of cases out from Louisiana that said that a cop can't go up to someone open carrying or noticing a weapon and just automatically presume that they're a felon. It said that the normal class of a person was not that of a felon, which I thought was pretty cool. You're saying, well, most people aren't felons, and you can't just look at me and say, oh, I need to check his wants and warrants to make sure he's not either wanted or a fugitive.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What case? That came out like a couple years ago, right?
Like so long ago, I don't even remember the actual
Yeah, it
case. I
wasn't
was trying to
recent.
think of the words. No, it's not recent, and I can't even remember the actual words that they used. But it was like the normal status of a person is not that of a felon. That's all I can think of right now.
I'll be honest, man. I was a little nervous about Rahimi. I was thinking that could that case could have made some significant changes depending on how it ended. I honestly thought that it could have chipped away
So-
at Bruin even.
Tell people about Rahimi, what it is.
Oh no, I don't. I just wanted to sound smart. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Rahimi is a case where
I'm just
there was
sorry.
a domestic abuser that, well, one of the charges, he had a lot of charges. He wasn't a good guy, but one of the charges was,
Yeah, definitely. He
So
was
not
a
a great
confirmed
guy.
dirtbag.
what was carrying a firearm while being under a domestic violence restraining order.
Yeah,
And shooting. Wait, That was his only charge. This is the funny thing about it is this guy went on like shooting rampages, was shooting at people, threatening people with guns, like actively shooting at people. And they found that he had a domestic violence restraining order. Not that he had been convicted of anything, but literally just a restraining order that was issued by a court where he had an opportunity to defend himself. And this is the only charge they charged him with. Like Texas could have done a whole number of other things and gotten him off the streets, but they didn't. And so the feds came in and charged him because why be a state and charge people and have to spend your money when the feds can do it for you?
Facts.
Shoot.
Yep.
Yeah, we
I'm not jaded at all. At all.
Yeah.
Dude.
Wow.
You are the second most angriest attorney I know.
Yeah.
Second. I actually, you know what? I was talking about you today to someone.
Hold on, Dark.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Do I have to tell you who the angriest attorney I know is?
Please don't.
Okay.
Please don't.
I think we
Yeah.
all know.
Yeah, it just shows a lot of passion.
Kamala. Yeah,
Kamala.
Kamala's a lawyer.
Hold
Or
on.
is that
she
not her
passed the
right
bar?
way you
Nope.
say your name?
I thought we were talking
Yeah,
about
apparently.
YouTube attorneys. We're not talking YouTube attorneys. Are we?
Oh.
Is it Kamala or Kamala? Kamala? I
Camel,
don't know. Who cares?
Camel Toa.
It doesn't
something like
matter.
that. Yeah, I forgot that she did come back and pass the bar after
Mhm.
a couple of attempts.
She was the AG, California AG.
Yeah, she actually
In fact-
kept people in jail longer than their prison term to get free labor out of them.
There was a case, Sylvester v. Harris was an old California case that I want to say it went to the Supreme Court, and it has probably some of the best Justice Thomas dissent quotes in there about how the Supreme Court wouldn't tolerate this type of abuse to a constitutional right if we were talking about the Fourth Amendment or if we were talking about the First Amendment. He was talking about the KKK. I mean, he just went off on the Supreme Court, and it was phenomenal, saying that the Supreme Court needs to step in and do it. And it was a long time ago, like 2005, maybe 2004. It was a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that. Another
great.
thing that I remember from Kamala is a little amicus brief that she wrote in Heller. The
Really?
one that got me banned from
She-
Facebook.
Hold on. She wrote an amicus brief in Heller.
She didn't write anything. Someone
I was
on her
going to
staff
say.
wrote
I
it.
was.
She's-
You beat me to
Yeah.
that.
Well,
That's a
she
good
signed
point.
She
it.
signed her name. She signed it. Yeah, absolutely. As the Attorney General of California.
Yeah, basically saying
Oh.
that the individual does not have a right to a firearm.
Dude, who would ever want to live in disgusting, poop-stained, needle concrete? Like, man, I would never, ever. It's beautiful, like geographically, or well, like it is beautiful, like, but it's disgusting. I just could never.
Now
imagine
it
living
is.
there.
Yeah, but think
Yeah.
about growing up there and living there through the 80s and 90s and then realizing what it's turned into now.
That's true. That's
Uh,
true.
Don't
and then
forget,
wanting to
Reagan
move to
was
Texas where it's
governor.
108. Yeah.
Dude, Newsom. Oh, man,
Newsom is a
Well,
nuisance.
he is, man.
It's interesting to me. So California and Newsom and all that. Kamala did not pick Newsom. She
I'm
picked
grateful. I am eternally
Tim
grateful.
Walz.
She picked.
I don't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know this for a fact. I'm not into election law or any of this stuff, but I heard that the president and the vice president can't be from the same state or can't be something about the
Yeah,
same
I
state.
heard the same thing.
I don't. Yeah, I've heard that also. I don't believe that's actually so. I believe that is just best practice that they don't choose
I
them
don't
from
know.
the same state because you want to pick a running mate from another state where you have maybe a weakness. If you pick the governor of that state, it might get you some more votes.
Like someone that lied about his military career, that's the guy to pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Seems pretty dumb.
And abandon his unit when they were going off to to a very active war zone, and also retaining his rank immorally.
so wait, Richard Blumenthal is running for vice president?
No.
Oh
outer
no, that's the
shoreline,
other
it says,
Democrat
That's a
that
different
lied
one. That's a
about
different one.
different
0.
Democrat lying
Accept.
about certain.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail,
All right, we have a caller. Caller, who's this?
Thank you for calling John Crump Live. This
Hello.
will cost $5.99 per minute.
No, it will not cost you any money. What can we do for you?
This is Vulcan Rumble, and I wanted to make sure
Hey.
that the knife is a required part of a first aid kit. It's required in all commercial vehicles, including first aid kit, including commercial trucks, commercial livery cars, and aircraft and boats, according to the Department of Transportation.
Yeah.
It's also a required part of a first aid kit for the Homeland Security go bag, which was requested after the 9/11 attacks. It sounds as if most of the young lawyers don't know that they actually did request that.
Yeah, they actually
I
addressed.
think some of these.
They actually addressed that, and they said that California makes an exception for knives that have blades less than 2 inches.
I don't know what the standard up here in Massachusetts is, but they're completely out of control. And I think they just do it to prove their loyalty to the party boss.
Absolutely.
Because
Well, in Massachusetts, it's probably illegal for you to be calling the show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, don't go outside. You might get arrested.
Seriously, make sure you bring your papers with
I've
you.
actually worked for the Air Force, and I've actually been illegally searched while carrying Air Force documents.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
nice.
Wow.
Welcome to Massachusetts.
And yeah, well, they made me a U.S. Air Force official because of it, so I couldn't be prosecuted. Because they actually came after me afterward.
What does that mean?
What does
This
that mean?
is Dark, by the way. What's up, Vulcan Rumble? What do you mean by that?
I was transporting a national security courier, and they actually tried to gain control of the car. I drove through the front gate of the Air Force base rather than stop, and they chased me into the base.
Oh,
And then
wow.
he started knocking out orders at the Air Force General when the Air Force General arrived.
Well, that's not
Bold
good.
strategy.
Dude. And
Yeah,
this
I'm
was
amazed at how kind the general was, because if you tried this bullshit with me, I'd be chaining you to a plane. And you would be heading down to the FBI office at Gitmo. Because I wouldn't tolerate it at all.
this was just a like a deputy sheriff or a police officer, like regular, what I call RA
This is the town
police
sheriff.
officer, regular ass.
There's a town police chief sitting outside of a military intelligence facility trying to search cars.
So it sounds like he's looking for a fight.
Yeah, it's like the level of stupidity is amazing.
Looking for a victim.
You look at him going, they actually go out of their way to be incredibly bad. And it's just hilarious. It's not even incompetence. It seems to almost be pure spite for federal authority. It's just nothing but spite.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what
they sit outside the U.S. Embassy and they try to search people going into the U.S. Embassy, even though they're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a foreign government, Crump, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think in a lot of cases.
We're talking about.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, up here, it's institutionalized contempt and spite for any other authority other than the party boss.
Yeah, Stephen's
And
moving
they just get away with it generation after generation after generation.
Stephen's moving to Massachusetts.
Would you like a recommendation? Get
I'm not
over
moving to
that border into
Massachusetts.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Not going to
See, like I
Massachusetts.
moved to New Hampshire, but it's landlocked by commie states.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's not landlocked. It's got a coastline. But
we
you
don't
have
have
to
a boat.
understand that Massachusetts
Oh, I
is
mean,
just
New Hampshire.
fully socialized.
No, they
But
said,
New Hampshire, the wonderful thing about New Hampshire is that you are actually outnumbered by the moose and the deer.
yeah, New Hampshire does
Because
have a
as you
coastline.
get further north, yeah. New Hampshire borders Vermont and Maine.
Yeah.
And Maine and New Hampshire have a higher population of deer and moose than they have humans. Maine is so stinking remote that most people live on the actual Route 1 up the coast.
Well, Vermont
And
was the first state to have constitutional carry.
Way before it was
well,
even
they
a
used
thing.
to.
It used
We'll
to be
see how
called,
long that lasts.
well, it used to be called Vermont carry, right, Stephen?
I think so.
Your permit was you purchasing a handgun.
Yeah. All right, Vulcan. Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay.
We appreciate
Okay.
it. All right,
Bye-bye.
thanks. Bye.
Appreciate you, man. Bye. He has a point. It is really interesting that it seems to be all spite, and it seems to be punitive the way that they act. And so often we try to meet the actions that they're taking with logic, and it just drives us crazy. But you cannot meet the illogical with logic, right? There is no way. It is a square peg in a round hole, and they're showing their true colors, regardless of who we're talking about. If we're talking about the ATF, if we're talking about some just regular law enforcement, if we're talking about the elites, or it's they're showing their true colors. They just want to punish us and take our independence with certain things.
I do want to ask. We only got a few minutes left. Would you mind giving us update on the suppressor stuff going on?
Oh man. So, I had a hearing last week, and we've had
This
a
is
motion for a
the-
judge,
This is in Illinois, right?
Southern District of Illinois. Yeah. And the defendants, the state basically of Illinois, came in and said suppressors aren't arms. They're not firearms, and thus they're not protected by the Second Amendment. And so we briefed that from June of last year, and the judge never ruled on it. So like a month ago, we got this strange order. All the orders come by email now. So we got this strange order that said, we're going to have a hearing. I'm like, what's the hearing on? No one said, get prepared for this or get prepared for that. But basically, during our hearing, the judge wanted to know if we wanted to continue the stay of the case pending Judge McGlynn's trial in the Illinois assault weapons ban cases. Because, the Seventh Circuit gave this really, really bad ruling that said AR-15s aren't even arms under the Second Amendment and therefore can be banned.
That was
and
a
he did it.
right?
Yes, and then the en banc court wouldn't rehear it. So they denied rehearing, which probably means they are okay with that result. So our judge was like, do you want to go forward with this and let me rule in the motion, or do you want to continue the stay and let's see what happens in Judge McGlynn's trial? Because sometime in like 2 or 3 weeks in September, we'll have that. Well, they'll have that trial. I'm not involved with that case. So yeah, I said, well, let's just continue the stay, and basically all the plaintiffs and defendants agreed on it. So we're going to see what changes. I mean, the Seventh Circuit's ruling was so bad. When you say an AR-15 is not an arm, it's the most commonly bought and sold rifle. You can't get any more in common use for lawful purposes than an AR-15. And the Seventh Circuit just said, they're not even arms. Which, fair play to them. What a great way around Bruin and Heller and all these other courts that have said,
Sure.
It protects. The Second Amendment protects prima facie anything that constitutes a bearable arm. And Seventh Circuit's like, we don't think so.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's smart. I got a couple of those. Thanks.
Yeah, so good on them, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's like middle of September, like September 15th ish or somewhere in
I don't
time.
even know. Yeah.
Isn't there something else happening September the 15th, Rich?
Are you talking about the judge deciding whether Trump goes to jail?
Jonald Crump Jr. No, September the 15th, a new knife company is dropping.
Oh yeah. Hey.
All right, go plug your knife company, guys.
No, we can do it later. All right, we'll do it now.
No, we're out of time anyway.
Definition Knives, check it out. 9:15. You guys are going to see some super dope knives that are really a fraction of the cost compared to other similar knives on the market. And we're pumped about it, man. We put a lot into this. And if you go to Instagram, you can look up Definition Knives altogether. And pretty soon we'll have our website and store up as well. If you use code CRUMP, we charge an additional $20.
So don't use that code. And we'll make sure Steven gets hooked up with one.
This is actually the Journalist, which we named after John Crump. And this is a really, really cool knife. This is an 8CR13 MOV steel blade, drop point, very solid blade. It just, man, it feels so good in the hand. The positioning of the pocket clip, the grip, everything. It's just so dope. So sorry, I don't mean to just,
Oh,
chill and
yeah, you
plug,
do.
but
September
I
16th. I was off by one day.
Close enough.
Yeah, if I was good as dark with flipping knives, I would do this without cutting myself. But since I'm not,
Oh, dude, I'm a Balisong beast. I'm almost as good with my nunchucks as I am with the Balisong.
and breakdancing.
Yeah, I used to be really good at that, and I probably still am.
Do you
But
still breakdance?
We got
I
video of it.
never break. Oh yeah. But I did break dance, didn't I? I break danced as well as Ray Gun did. In fact, I
You have to
copied.
get into the Olympics.
Yeah. All right, Steven, tell people where they can find you at.
So I'm on Twitter, which is it's never going to be X to me. At Stambo2A.
Post a lot of good stuff there, so you definitely
I
should
do
follow
try.
him. Definitely should follow him. All right, guys, that is it. We're going to be out of here tomorrow. We have Delegate Asia Cardoza from Virginia on, and we're going to be talking about the stuff facing Virginia and the gun battles and stuff like that.
On our way out, can I add one quick thing for Steven? I just feel like it has to be mentioned. I just want to say how little respect is given to like how much work you put into what you do, and you're truly doing this because you choose to. You could very easily just do something else and make $1 million or millions of dollars. And when you're going,
you should get a free AR.
I know, right, Kyle?
I've got
Just
plenty
saying.
of ARs.
But what happens a lot of times in these cases is, whoever you're opposing comes in and they, I forgot the term that you use, but basically, they stick you with the bill and all the time and energy and money, all the billable hours, everything you've put into it. You end up at a massive loss.
Oh yeah.
Because you believe in our natural rights and protecting our natural
Next time
rights.
I'm on this, I'll tell you how I lost $750,000.
By like the stroke of a pen.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's just like you're suffering in silence. And I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, you wouldn't probably ever bring that up yourself. That's why I wanted to mention that, because like when you and I talked about it, like I could not believe the way some of these things end. So I just wanted to mention that, and maybe the next time you come on Crumps, or even if you come on my show, I think it would be good to talk about. So I just wanted to add that. So I'm grateful for what you do, man. Appreciate it. Yeah,
all right,
sorry.
and the article is posted on amln.com if you guys want to check it out with the documents. I posted it in the chat too. But thank you so much for coming on, Steven, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Thanks. Oh, by the way, tonight at 10 o'clock, we have a uncensored podcast going on over at Rumble.
What?
Podcast on Rumble. We're going to be talking about, is free speech under attack? Because we're going to be talking about what's going on with the whole entire arrest in France of the founder of Telegram, who was arrested in France. Also, we're going to be talking about Tim Walz, who said free speech does not apply to misinformation and hate speech,
as he lies about his military record. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
He actually said that, Stephen. Free speech does not apply to misinformation and hate speech.
Yeah, so there's not a misinformation or hate speech excise in the First Amendment that doesn't say, I just
First Amendment. Let me look up. There must be an asterisk.
Can't stand these people.
I mean,
Congress shall make no law.
we're really like there is no such thing as hate speech or misinformation. There may be speech that you disagree with, or if I say the sky is red, right? Like, but this is all a bunch of made up bullshit.
Well, I hate Kamala's speech, all of it.
That,
know,
I think she's speaking into. I think you know what a Russian number station is.
No.
No.
Radio frequency stuff, right?
Back in let's Cold War, and they still have them. There'll be these pirate radio stations that just broadcast numbers, and it's basically communicating to spies. I think
Mhm.
her speech is so convoluted and doesn't make any sense that she must be a human Russian number station.
oh my
She's
goodness,
not very intelligent.
What will be?
Oh, nice.
Dick
you wanna-
Heller is following Definition Knives. Sorry, I just had to show
Oh,
that.
cool.
Yeah. Kamala's been unburdened by her past, for sure.
Ooh,
Probably with a
Absolutely.
whole lot
Has
of
been.
pot.
Because of what will be.
Yes. She's
Mhm.
unburdened. She's high or drunk or something.
Yeah, or both. Or
Yeah,
maybe
or
she's
both.
not high or drunk and she needs to,
Well, you know, maybe she's just getting the wrong data from the wrong clouds that are above us.
it
Yes.
could be. I didn't
You
think
saw
about
that,
She's
right?
on her school bus. Oh yeah, I've seen all of it. Yeah,
And she's like, no, the information is in the clouds above us.
yeah, and she's very serious when she talks, like she's saying something super profound, and you just look at her and you're like, I don't think you know what you're saying.
It's because she's taking bits and pieces of like actual helpful things in communication and with things that you see mostly
Yes.
politicians do, like, speaking slowly and then adding pauses into your speech. But when you
Yeah.
use them all wrong
Mhm.
and
You know what it
you
is?
over
It's
exaggerate,
like she's like a Kamala GPT that was trained on little snippets of speeches and pauses and effect and enunciation and got it all wrong. And she
yeah,
just keeps spitting it out, the same stuff over and over.
yeah.
Well, I've
I want to say
gotten a
something.
lot of success out of life by heeding this one saying. They may suspect you're an idiot, but don't open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing. Johnny Three Bar came up with a really, really deep cut. Rabbit Radio, WRBT, the home of Commander Bunny and the Rodent Revolution.
I actually have no idea what that is.
It was a pirate radio station from like the 90s. And it was talking about the Rodent Revolution. And there's like a Commander Bunny who was like the leader of the Rodent Revolution. And always check your tire pressures. Johnny Three Bar, we know what I'm talking about.
Oh no way, that's so cool.
Just look up WRBT on YouTube.
I definitely will probably do that.
Commander Bunny. Yep.
Oh man. All right, guys.
I'm
Y'all
going.
have a good one.
You just
Thanks, man. You too.
All right, take care. Bye.